beautiful budding bakers. What a glorious morning it is today, because it's always a glorious morning, because we're going to do something traditional. Back to square one, we're doing a Victoria sponge. Victoria sponge today. I'm using my trusty titanium. So, very simple recipe it is. We've got super soft butter. So, in goes 200 grams of butter. We've got 200 grams of self-raising flour. We've got 200 grams, come down here, 200 grams of caster sugar. We have got 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. We also have a teaspoon of baking powder. We have 2 tablespoons of buttermilk, that's just what I do. And I've got 4 glorious free-range eggs. So, this morning it is as simple as boom, boom, boom into our mixer. So, to start with, we have our soft butter, and in goes our caster sugar. Now, this recipe, 2224, will do an 8-inch round sandwich tin. If you're doing celebration cakes, it ain't gonna cut it. You need to bump up the volume. Bump up the volume, bump up the volume. So you need 350 grams of butter, sugar, flour, and 6 eggs. So my students remember 350, 350, 350, and 6. So that's for an 8-inch round tin. If you're going to bump it up to a 10-inch, you're going to do 650, 650, 650, and 9. Okay? So, when you're baking traditional birthday cakes, make sure you put them in 2 separate tins. When I started off fado years ago, I always put one mix into one tin. It can take anything from an hour and 20 to cook your cake. So, the smart way to do some baking is to have 2 separate tins. 2 separate tins bake evenly. You're not going to have a heart attack thinking it's going to take forever to bake. It's very easy to do. So, down our mixer, in goes our butter and our sugar, and you're going to give it a bit of a mix. At this stage, I like to add my vanilla extract. In it goes. I have got my self-raising flour, and I've got my eggs, and I've also got my teaspoon of baking powder. In that goes into my flour. Give it a stir, stir, stir. Now, this is another tip that I found when I'm doing my Victoria sponge. I don't add all my eggs. I'll push that a little bit. I add my eggs after I add my flour. It seems to work for me. I don't end up with any time of a curdled mix. My Victoria sponge is always beautifully risen. So all you're doing, if you want to zoom in there, so just have a look. So you've got your butter and your sugar. I'm going to speed it up ever so slightly. So I've got my butter, really soft butter. Secret to Victoria sponge, as light, as airy as possible. Get that air into your mix. Followed by my sprinkling of flour. Now this is kind of strange because when you're making it, it will look as if it's a cookie dough. There is a method to my madness. You're going to add the flour in, all of it, before you add Alexa, timer off. That is my beautiful brown soda bread in the oven for my Sunday coffee break. So again, shake your flour, shake your flour, shake your flour into your Victoria sponge. Okay, in it goes. All my flour has gone in. Boom, boom, boom. Next, I have got my eggs, and I like to do it one at a time. And as I do it, I will also speed up the mixer. Now, can you see the mix? Just needs another egg about. Now, I'm not going to put in another egg until I can see the last egg that I've just put in has been absorbed. In it goes, and in we go. And the last egg. Now, the other thing I haven't done is I haven't scraped down the bowl deliberately. So I'm going to take out my spatula because I do not need it, my beater rather. So out comes the beater. Room temp buttermilk, and I'm just pouring in my room temp, and then I go round. Ooh, says she's splashing it everywhere. Into my mix. This gives the lightest, fluffiest, tender crumb known to man. Thank you, Ken, you were amazing this morning. Over you go, off, switch off, back again. So, I have got 2 tins. Now, these are not 8-inch tins, because what I'm doing this morning, even though it's a Victoria sponge, I'm putting mine in a 9-inch sandwich tin, because I'm going to do lots of layers this morning. So, you will have a 20 centimetre or an 8-inch tin for your Victoria sponge. And again, I'm just giving it one last stir-rooney before I have my, where have I, oh yeah, making sure I have it, yeah. 2 tins ready and lined. In they go. Now I'm doing this by eye, because after 20 plus years of making cakes, I don't need my scales. But if you do want to take out your scales, it will mean that each tier is going to be exactly the same. Now I'm going to paddle using my palette knife out to the edge. Now for an 8-inch round cake, this would go in for 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. Check it at 25 minutes. Because this is a slightly larger tin, this does go in at 25 minutes. But there's a method to my madness, because I want to layer up my sponge. So I have 2 sponge layers already made, and I'm going to show you what's next. So this goes into an oven preheated at 180. This size 9-inch will go in for 25 minutes. And before I knew there was something, I'm just going to take it out and move this up, because lads, if your oven is on, have something else cracking on in the background. So I have got beautiful my Sunday bread, soda bread. So in go my Victoria sponge. So the next thing I have Victoria sponge done. Now you'd look at this and say, oh my God, it's so shallow. It's supposed to be for my style, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer it up. So first things first, clean up, clean up, clean up, hop over and to the sink. We have got a Victoria sponge, and it goes to the plate. I've got some strawberry jam. Now listen, use a spoon when you're putting into jam. If I see anyone in my house stabbing the jam with a knife, it's okay, I'm just putting some jam in me toast. In goes the knife and they snip. Use a spoon, okay? A spoon. Back to my happy place. Spoon goes into your jam and spooned onto your beautiful sponge. So I have my strawberry. You can change it to lemon. You can do raspberry. But there's a reason why I want to bring it right to the edge. And this is going to be in the fridge also chilling. So in it goes right to the edge. Now, I have whipped up buttercream. So buttercream, when you're doing Victoria sponge, it tends to be cream. This morning I don't have cream, so I made buttercream. So buttercream, you will have 250 grams of butter, 500 grams of icing sugar, and about 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk. Now, it really depends. If your butter is at room temp, you obviously will use less liquid. Less liquid. So when you add your milk, add 1 tablespoon at a time. You may only need 1 tablespoon because your butter is so soft. So I have put some buttercream into a piping bag. Now, the reason I like doing this also is because when I started first, it's a fantastic training point to get your piping skills. So she's blobbing it onto the plate. All I'm going to do, bring it right to the edge, and I'm going to squeeze little blobs all the way around the plate, all the way around the cake even, just to the edge. So they're like little teardrops. I'm not that super fussy, but when you're putting on your cake, you will have these little droplets seen. Then you can just speed it up. Speed it up, get your piping skills, get used to working with the piping bag. As you can see, my buttercream is lovely and soft. Okay, We've got another layer. Now this time, if you were doing a celebration cake, you invert the cake upside down, which is what I'm going to do, because then you have a level surface to work with. Move my rack out of the way. Fantastic. Now, you could serve as is, except let's dusting of icing sugar. I am going to put this into the fridge because remember, I've got 2 other tiers in the oven of my Victoria sponge and I'm going to layer it up. But for the purpose of demonstrations, you now have your Victoria sponge where you can put your strawberries in the center. You can fill with cream. If you're going to fill with cream, make sure you stiffly whip your cream. So in other words, when you're whipping your cream, don't have the soft whip cream. It won't stabilize in your cake. This is going to go into the fridge because I want the buttercream to firm up. The next layer of strawberry jam, sponge, cream, buttercream, sprinkle, kaboom, your Victoria sponge is made. Traditional bakes on a Sunday. So just remember, 2, 2, 4, 200 grams of butter, 200 grams of caster sugar, and you've got 200 grams of self-raising flour. You've got 4 eggs. I like to use large eggs. I get the most amazing free range from Michael. Michael, your eggs are amazing. And I put a teaspoon of baking powder in. That is for an 8-inch round tin. If you want to bump it up for a celebration cake, 350, 350, 350, and 6. Bump it up bigger again to a 10-inch 12 or 10-inch cake. You're talking 650, 650, 650, 9. Lads, I'm getting carried away with my Victoria sponge. I shall see you tomorrow at 10.